With rumors that Converse is doing so poorly that Nike is willing to sell the entire Converse brand, something showed up at the shop, a Japanese-made Converse. And if you don't know anything about Japanese culture, especially the craftsmanship culture, they are known worldwide for being the absolute best craftsmen in the entire world. There's plenty of people who would dispute it this way or that way, but across the board, culturally, they care a lot more about substance than quantity. But just like any other country, there's plenty of cheap stuff coming out of Japan too. So we're gonna take these Japanese-made Converse, cut them in half, run through all of our tests to finally figure out, first of all, can somebody make the Converse that would actually revive the brand, that would give it the quality it needs to actually make a shoe that's not gonna wear out in 3 months, that looks good, made out of good enough materials without elevating the price so much that you can't afford them, hitting that sweet spot of Japanese craftsmanship, but still keeping them affordable. And I personally just wanna know which is the best Converse that you can buy under 100 bucks. Is it the regular Chuck Taylor All-Stars? Is it the Chuck 70s? Or is it the Japanese Chucks? And is there any difference whatsoever? And are those differences important enough that it could actually save the brand? Is this what Converse should be doing? Should they be emulating Japanese craftsmanship? Or is it like the rest of the Converse where it's just kind of a cash grab, where they even put a little felt on the bottom to classify them as slippers to get them in the US? That's what we're gonna figure out. Because I have such high hopes for these. because these are the Chuck Taylors I've always wanted. So now let's figure out the truth. So then what is this shoe? Well, the brand is Converse Japan. The style is the Canvas All-Star J High. They weigh 1 pound, 6 ounces compared to the other weights of these other shoes. They retail for $96 if the conversion's right, compared to $65 for your cheap Chucks and $95, which is $1 less, of the Chuck 70s. These are obviously made in Japan, while the other two Converse are made in Vietnam. And the way they position this Japanese shoe is a color arrangement model of the Made in Japan All-Stars, featuring a graphite color with a retro-inspired reminiscent of dead stock for the upper. The text Made in Japan printed at the bottom of the heel, and the Converse logo printed in red on a white canvas inspired by a Japanese flag add a special touch. And they say it's a limited production item in a Japanese original carton. So if you do want a pair of these, check them out. Be links in my description. Same with the regular Chucks if you decide to go that way. So now let's start comparing them, because they're right off the bat, there is a slight color difference in the blacks between these. The Japanese Converse is a lot deeper black. It's a lot more solid black, where these are, the regular Converse are almost kind of bluish black. They're a little like sun faded looking. But is that difference in color reflective of any quality difference between the three shoes? Well, in terms of thickness, your regular Chucks are about 0.6 millimeters thick for just the outer layer of canvas. The Chuck 70s are 1 millimeter thick, very thick and hardy. So I assumed the Japanese Chucks would be the same way, but they're still at that 0.6 millimeters thick. But there is a difference in the weave between all these canvases, because if you look really closely at all three of these two regular Chucks, very tight weave. It's washed and tumbled to some degree, so it's loose and floppy. The Chuck 70 is a little bit more firm because of how thick they are. But if you look closely at this Japanese weave, it's a lot thicker of a canvas weave. So it has a little bit more of a firm temper to it. Even though it's thinner, it's a lot closer to the Chuck 70s. But my guess is it'd be just as abrasion resistant, but more breathable, lighter weight, but just as durable because of that big chunky canvas weave. But what about the puncture test? Well, the regular Chucks puncture through at 39, the Chuck 70s puncture through at 49, and the Japanese Chucks only punctured through at 19 pounds. So if I were to guess out of the three, which is gonna be the most durable, probably the Chuck 70s. You know, there's maybe a case to be made the Japanese are maybe as durable, but my money would be on the Chuck 70s. I guarantee you've never seen a clean shaven face from this guy. That's because I get crazy razor rash. So then why do guys, including me, get nothing but razor rash every time you shave? Well, one of the big reasons is modern razors have like 1,000 blades in them. And you would assume like, oh, the more blades, the cleaner it cuts, but what really happens is that first blade trims off your hair, then every blade after that is making contact with your skin, irritating it, removing just a micro layer of skin. But if you look at 100 years ago, they were using one blade. And they've been using one blade in razors for as long as people have been shaving, up until the last like 30 years. Let me get some boxed and I'll show you. And I'll show you my razor at home. It's actually almost the exact same razor, because I picked mine up literally from a vintage store. The thing's probably like 80 years old, because I wanted one blade. And that's because it doesn't irritate my skin. It doesn't give me those bumps. And this razor holds these blades really, really tightly. And they focus on that one blade cutting correctly rather than relying on literal 7 blades to scrape through your skin. So if you hate dealing with razor rash and bumps like I do, simplify it. You're probably overcomplicated it. You don't need 6 or 7 blades, you need one. So thanks to Hints and Shaving for sponsoring this video, and check them out below. Which upper do I like most out of the bunch? I definitely like the Japanese Chucks. It looks more like an old school Chuck, you know, it's a big chunky weave, and above that, it's a lot more refined, because if you look at these two shoes, they basically are the exact exact same shoe, but you'll notice that tone difference in the upper. Notice the tone difference of this more cream outsole on the Japanese Chuck compared to this bone white on the regular Chucks. And just down to the finishing touches, it's a lot more refined. And it seems like a lot more effort went into the finishing of this compared to your regular Chucks. And just to double check, we ran the burn test too, just to see if this Japanese Chuck happens to be some sort of synthetic blend instead of just cotton, but they all burned about the same, so I think they're all a cotton canvas. But what about the inside? Because this is where I think you're gonna see some of the differences between these shoes. Is the upper, there's only so much you can change, but on the inside is where it starts to get really different, because your regular Chucks, pretty traditionally made canvas lining, you've got this reinforced counter area. The Chuck 70 goes up a little bit higher, but basically the same for the most part. But if you look at the Japanese Chucks, it's pretty similar, but it's a different execution of the same style of manufacturing, because these counters are just the same canvas material with the ribbing around it, but on the Japanese Chucks, it's a big, chunky, open canvas weave. So it's gonna be more abrasion resistant, it's gonna be more supportive, it's gonna grip your heel more. You're not gonna wear through the heel nearly as fast as these other Chucks. That's definitely reinforced, and that same material is echoed through the insole. You know, the Chuck 70s has a removable insole, it has a little bit of wedge rubber underneath, but your regular Chucks are cemented in there, and they're not made to be removed. And that's exactly how these Japanese Chucks are made. But what about the actual lining material? Both the regular Chucks are very similar, about 0.4 millimeters thick, a nice, soft, but floppy canvas. Whereas the Japanese Chucks, once again, are a lot more firm. It's a slightly bigger weave, but it is a little bit more firm. But once again, for the most part, it's just a canvas lining. You know, it's not a big enough difference. So like, oh, I'm definitely getting the Japanese shoe. It's so much better because the canvas is slightly different. The counter's slightly different. And so I'm still kind of looking for what is the actual difference between these shoes? Like, why would you even buy a Japanese shoe? Since we can't pull that insole out, we ran the ball drop test to see if there was any responsive difference between the three of them. And the regular Chucks bounced up 11.5 inches, Chuck 70's 13.5, but the Japanese bounced up 16.5 inches. So there's gotta be something different on the inside that's causing that better rebound, that more responsiveness, and they feel different on foot. They feel a lot more cushioned, they feel a lot more substantial. But if you compare that to the bar drop test, the regular Chucks bounced up 5 3/4, Chuck 70's 5 1/4, and the Japanese Chucks surprisingly suffered at 3 3/4. And some of that might be from the outsole, because if we look at the foxing and the outsole, let's start with the foxing first, because foxing, if you don't know, is the tape they wrap around the shoe to combine the upper with the bottom, and they put it in a big oven, they bake it, and that baking fully cures the rubber, binding it together instead of glue. It's rubber on rubber, basically melted together is kind of the idea. But the difference between your Chuck 70s and your regular Chucks is the Chuck 70s have a little bit more of a substantial foxing tape. You can see it's reinforced, there's a little thicker layers to it, it's just a little bit better built. But comparing it to the Japanese Chucks, you can see, we haven't cut it in half yet, but you can see that foxing is reinforced like the Chuck 70s. And just feeling the sidewalls, just giving it like a little bend like this compared to these other shoes, I think this construction is a lot closer to the Chuck 70s and the regular Chucks. And so now I'm curious, is there any actual difference? Or are these just basically Chuck 70s made in Japan? Because if you look at the outsole, they're basically the exact same outsole. We put the durometer tester on it, and surprisingly, the Japanese Chucks are a lot softer. They come in at 55 Shore compared to 70 Shore. So you're gonna get more grip with the Japanese Chucks, but I'm curious if they added thickness to offset how much faster they'll wear down by having a more soft rubber. But one thing for sure is they didn't put felt on the bottom to classify them as slippers to get them in the United States. And if you actually look at the foxing, you can see that reinforced tape underneath of it. So is this basically just a Chuck 70 made in Japan? Because that's kind of what it's looking like. I'm kind of confused with like, why would you buy a Japanese-made sneaker if it's the exact same? So now let's answer that question, cut them in half, and finally see what's actually in these Japanese Chucks. Our little collaboration did really, really well. You guys ate these up. The leather lining, you know, the higher quality components like the Vibram outsole, and these restock, I think here, I don't know the date off the top of my head right now, but these restock eventually, and get ready for them because they're sick and I love them. All right, we got them cut in half. So now let's figure out if there is actually any difference between these. And if you're not subscribed, consider pushing that little subscribe button. Support us if you can by checking out our handmade leather goods. Check out our saddle soles that sold out of like some of the more popular sizes in like 4 days. We got a restock coming, so check those out below, and thank you guys for your support. That's literally the only way we can afford to cut hundreds and hundreds of dollars of brand new stuff apart every single week for the last like 6 years nonstop. I don't even think we missed a single week of uploads. So support us where you can. So now, let's see what's inside. So is it just a Chuck 70? Just dressed up with a Japanese name? Surprisingly, no. It's very different. It's still Converse to some degree because you can see it still has that insole with the open cell foam and then that wedge underneath of it, but the way they do the wedge is different. They've got a stabilizing layer underneath of it that's rubber, and the wedge isn't a blown rubber, it's a foam. And you can see that difference in the counter, you can see a little bit of difference in that paneling, and just look at the precision of even that zigzag stitch between these two shoes. Basically the same price, but you can tell that the Japanese shoe was made a lot more refined, a lot finer techniques, a lot more precision. But there's one difference between these that I almost didn't notice until I literally sat down to record this. And it makes maybe the biggest difference out of any of the Converse we've ever seen. And that's the fact that it's not strobel-stitched. I didn't even notice that because we couldn't pull that insole out. But if you look at the way that these regular Chucks are made, you can see there's a stitch right there, that white stitch that sews the upper down to this lasting board, which is foam here. And on the regular Chucks, it lasts down to this green fiber board there. And what happens is that upper stops right at the insole and it's stitched together right there. Versus the Japanese Chucks are made a lot more like more expensive sneakers where it's basically board lasted. Because if you look really closely, it's not just the upper that tucks underneath the insole right here and right here, it's the actual foxing tape too, which is absolutely insane because it's not just board lasted, it's like a board lasted vulcanized construction, but the vulcanized construction is also part of the board last. I've never seen that in my entire life. Why would they do that? What are the benefits? What are the pros and cons? Well, it solves the number one problem with everyone has with Chucks, with Vans, with all these vulcanized sneakers, and that's the fact that over time, that little bit of vulcanizing right there is not enough to keep those layers tight, and eventually it slips out and you have a big hole in your heel and it's flapping all over the place. But if you take that upper foxing and you wrap it underneath, look at how much more contact you have with the outsole. So instead of just a 1/4 inch of contact with the outsole, you get basically double, if not triple the amount of contact, and it's not just gonna slip out because it tucks all the way under and has the foxing around it. So you basically have cornered the edge of the outsole to seal it in. And that is brilliant because that fixes the number one problem with all of Converse. And somehow they still kept it at the exact same price as the Chuck 70s. But is there any other differences that are worth noting on the inside? You know, it doesn't have that pour-on style foam layer underneath of it, but it's still got plenty of foam. But what's really interesting is I recorded a video like 2 weeks ago that looks exactly like this shoe. It uses basically the same materials. It uses basically the exact same construction techniques, also made in Japan, also kind of heritage style. The Moonstars, and it has the exact same vulcanized board lasted construction. So are these made by Moonstar? Because Moonstars are how much? How much are the Moonstars? They're like 300 bucks. Moonstars are $262. And I'm not saying these shoes are equivalent, you know, they're different shoes, but look at the heel counter. That's the exact same heel counter. Look at the lining material. That is the exact same lining material. Look at the insole foams. I'm like 80 or 90% sure that the people that manufacture Moonstar are the same guys manufacturing the made in Japan Converse, but they're 150 bucks cheaper. And they're basically the same shoe. You know, you don't have all the overlays and everything, and there is some differences. But as far as I'm concerned, you're basically getting a Moonstar version of Chuck Taylors for the regular Chuck 70 price. And there is real differences. This is not just like, oh, we took Chuck 70s over to Japan, had them made, threw the Japanese name on them, hopefully people buy them. They really did improve the way that these shoes are made and manufactured and solved the number one problem people have with it. And beefed everything up. If you look at all the layers, thicker foxing, thicker outsole, softer rubber, softer midsole, better heel counter, better canvases, better coloring, better finishing, better foxing across the board. This pair of Chuck Taylors is easily the best Chucks that we've ever cut in half. And you get them for 90 bucks, 96 bucks. I don't know for sure, but I'm like, I'd be willing to bet a good amount of money that these are manufactured by the same people. That's a hell of a deal if that's true. And even if it's not true, even they're using the same materials, the same techniques, made in Japan, the same finishing quality. So even if it's a different factory, you're basically getting a Moonstar for 90 bucks. That's crazy. So I'm gonna be ordering myself a pair of these before everyone buys them out, because let's just check inventory real quick on their site. Yeah, they're already out of a few sizes. So I have a feeling that these are gonna go even quicker now that we basically know they're like $250 Chuck Taylors marked down to 90 bucks. So nice work, Japan. So really the final question is this the way forward for Converse? Is this difference in quality and construction techniques enough to make the brand what it used to be? Or is Nike just doomed to sell the Converse brand because of its underperformance? I don't know. To me, it's like, how can you lose money at one of the most iconic shoes of all time? There must be something more to it. Is it a cultural shift? I don't think people care that much about quality. I think it's more of us that love like the ins and outs, the depth of durability and this balance between form and one function. In my heart, I want to say this would save the Converse brand and Nike wouldn't have to sell them. But I don't know if it's enough. But at the same time, I don't know why the Converse brand is failing so hard, because there's always going to be people that buy Converse. So I don't think it would save the brand, but it wouldn't hurt. If you came out and you're like, hey, we took this age-old concept, we improved it, we upgraded it, it's still the same style of shoe, it's just better. We fixed the problems you guys all have with this. They're 20 bucks more expensive, go out and buy them. But I don't know. I think the big takeaway from this video for Nike is you have the possibilities and the capabilities to make a better version of Chucks. So maybe they should emulate a little bit of that Japanese manufacturing prowess and the finesse and that care for the quality, the care for the zigzag stitches, and really improve the shoes so that the shoes aren't just like, oh yeah, they're cheap Chucks, I buy a pair every year. Actually build some quality in these and people might come back. So I think Nike could take a big page out of the Japanese manufacturing notebook and emulate it. So let me know what you guys think. Get yourself a pair of these before they're gone, because I have a feeling they're gonna go real quick. And if you want a pair of Chuck 70s, regular Chucks, check those out below. Check out the Moonstar video we did a couple weeks ago, and let me know what else you guys want us to cut apart, and let me know your opinion on why you think Nike is considering selling the Converse brand, because that would be a shame if that thing went under. And we can crowdfund it, have a Anvil Converse brand. I don't have $50 million. So thank you guys. See ya.